You're not failing, you're giving up too soon. That graveyard of half-finished programs, endless webinars and PDFs teaching you yet another marketing strategy, a tool that you've used enthusiastically for a couple of weeks before giving up and switching to another one. That shiny object that feels like it's the magic bullet that you are looking for, you're giving up too soon. You're not failing, you are cut out for this. The grass isn't greener on the other side. The gap between action and results is normal. We all experience it. And the problem is at the moment is that you are expecting your progress to look a little bit like this. You start here and you do the work and you hit the goal. Unfortunately, this expectation is a false one. And where we have a gap between expectation and reality, we feel frustrated. And that's why you're seeking and searching out new strategies, new ways of doing things. So, what does progress actually look like when we're trying to do something new in our business? Well, it looks a little bit more like this. Okay. So, we start high enthusiasm in anticipation of what is going to be possible. This is the strategy. This is the thing that's going to be work. This is going to work. This is the one for me. I finally cracked it. I'm super ready for this. And as we start to do the work, unfortunately, what starts to happen is we go through both doubt and the reality check. And this is where we realize that things are going to be harder than we were expecting. Okay, it's not quite as straightforward as we thought that it was going to be. And we hit this point where we're like, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe this isn't right for me. And what's probably happening here is you're going, maybe this isn't the right strategy. Maybe I should try something else. And what you might recognize in yourself is that you have this tendency to switch patterns. So maybe you keep going for a bit and you start to see some progress. Okay, it's kind of working and that feels good to you. But then you realize actually you're being inconsistent, maybe it's not working so well, and then you relapse. Okay, so you've done the work, it's kind of working, and then maybe for a couple of days you don't do it. And you think, oh no, maybe this isn't for me, maybe I need to change my strategy again. And if you can pull yourself out of it, or if you've got somebody that's working with you, they will help you realize that this relapse stage is normal. We all go through this process because when we are trying to change our habits, when we're trying to do something new, change our actions, the default that we've always done is constantly there as a pull. When you are working towards doing something differently, a new skill, a new habit, a new behavior, you are having to consciously think about the actions that you're taking. You are going through a mental checklist of, have I done the hook? Have I written the caption properly? Have I made sure that my messaging is in my post? Have I made sure that I've got a call to action? You are really consciously going through the steps, the success criteria to get the result that you've been told that you need to work towards. And that load, that cognitive load, is making your brain work double time. I've talked about this before. Your willpower is finite. And when we are having to monitor, actively supervise the actions, the things that we're doing, we get worn out more quickly, we get exhausted. And it's very easy to take this data point of, oh, I'm inconsistent, this isn't working, as a sign that you've chosen the wrong strategy. When we're going through this progress and relapse stage, it very much feels like one step forward, two steps back. And if you have set your expectation for this big goal to just happen with ease, you are going to come unstuck very quickly. If instead you have broken down a goal into smaller micro milestones and actions, you can then start to celebrate the smaller wins within the journey. And what happens is when you do have these dips, you can bounce back faster because you don't have this giant expectation that you're going to hit the goal smoothly and easily. You're like, right, what's the next step? What's the next smallest action I can take to get me towards my goal? And what starts to happen is that you start to build momentum. You can see here this upward trajectory. What we're getting here is momentum. It's finally clicking. The results are starting to come. You're seeing that kind of snowball effect, the compound impact of the work that you're doing. And that gets you to the goal. That gets you to the point where you have integrated, you have done the thing, and you are ready for what's next. Okay, so this is integration, or you've kind of done the goal, that part of it, and you're ready for the next stage. And as you go through this journey, switching feels like it might be smart, but every time you switch, you're starting back at the excitement, the novelty, yay, and then you're going back through the same process again. You know, you're confusing your audience with mixed messages. You don't have any real results that you can speak to. You get this hit on your confidence every single time you start again at this point in the journey, because you think, well, is this going to be the one? Am I going to follow through? Is it going to work for me this time? And what I want you to do is a couple of things. The first is that I want you to commit to one particular strategy or approach for the next 90 days. So if you've decided that doing a weekly YouTube video is the way that you are going to manage your marketing efforts, then focus on that for 90 days. Then build in implementation intentions and deep work sprints. So implementation intentions are, when are you going to do it? What are you going to do? What does that look like? So it might be on a Wednesday morning, I am going to record my YouTube videos and I'm going to upload them. And then set aside time for deep work sprints. So it might be that you are going to set aside 90 minutes a week to do your research and your writing to make sure that you've got your script for your YouTube video. Then I want you to start to collect the evidence. So track the progress. Have I done a video every week? Is it getting easier for me to do it? Am I getting feedback from people who have watched my videos? Can I celebrate the fact that I've got one viewer on my video? Can I celebrate the fact that I've now got 10 viewers on my video? Maybe I've got somebody that's downloaded a lead magnet directly off the YouTube video that I'm sharing. And then ask someone to be there just as a kind of support, to make sure that if you do bail, if you feel like you're not making the progress that you want, that they are there to kind of challenge you and keep you focused and on track. Because every time you switch strategy, every time you do something different, you're basically resetting the clock at zero again, and you really never get to that point of momentum and integration and it actually working. Like, this journey of change is up and down, it is wobbly, and that is perfectly normal. If you don't see yourself in this video, if you're like, actually, that is not my problem at all, I'd love for you to take the implementation pattern quiz, because there are 4 different implementation patterns, and each of these has a different characteristic, what's happening in the background, what it looks like to be in that state, and the pathway to focused execution for each of those patterns is different. So take the quiz, find out what your pattern is, and also your pathway out. I'll see you next time.